How goes it, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Emmett, and as always, please do your own research. I'm but one talking head amongst a sea of many, and I'm looking at things from a 30,000 foot view. Suffice to say, I think I am going to just change my video styles back to just having them scripted. The last few videos that I did, I'm not going to say that I regret doing them. I'm happy that I did them, and I agree with every single point or lack of a point that I've made in those videos. However, trying to play the game of the quick reactionary very clearly does not work out too well for me, and that's fine. I'm just going to go back to the stuff that makes me comfortable and what I know, and that is having most of my content scripted. So if you guys enjoyed that, by all means, it's coming back. And I apologize for experimenting without your knowledge. Getting into the actual video, ladies and gentlemen, well, mostly gentlemen, because I believe that we've all had this feeling, or rather had this experience, whether we realize it or not. I've had the rare opportunity in my life to just sit down and observe. And I'm talking, there's nothing else going on, no electronics in the background, no noise, just me, luckily out in nature, and I'm just observing. I'm not looking at things, I'm not hearing things, I'm just existing and observing as it is. And in those thoughts, it brought me to in that experience, it brought me to a couple of things. So the furthermore of this could be considered a philosophical argument or just a plain self-rant of things of potentially to come for the rest of you. But in any event, I do thank you guys for stopping by and listening. To preface, at this point, I think it's safe to say that I'm old. Gone for me, as well as many others, are the days of being free and independent to a point where you lived that life on simpler terms. Some of us miss it. Some of us, for some reason, never left. And others were just happy that it happened. If anything, I can say that throughout my whole experience in life thus far, the best thing to happen was that I was there when the change happened. And the worst thing is that I also wasn't there when the change happened. For some, I realize that might be a little confusing, but please allow me to explain. As I've said, I've been alive for a minute on this earth, and for the majority of it so far, I've been in good health, stayed out of trouble with the law, never gotten addicted to drugs, etc. And while living life near this edge of lucidity, I've come to look back on the things that I've seen and that I've done. I've seen the internet develop from the sluggish and ear-splitting painful period of dial-up to broadband, and now we're on fiber. From basic cellular phones with only 30 minutes of talking in time and no data, to unlimited, which, by the way, I still believe they put you on some kind of data cap before they slow you down, but that's neither here nor there for the conversation. I've seen cable TV turn into video sharing and then straight to YouTube, and from YouTube now we're on the great platform known as streaming. Gaming, or whereby the means of gaming, has changed. My earliest memory of me playing a game that I thoroughly enjoyed was the original NBA Jam and the Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis. Something you'd need a console and a spare TV for. Now, while they are remade, you can play these things on a cell phone, on a touchscreen cell phone, mind you, with higher frame rates and visuals so fantastic that you can see the sweat beads on the characters. I've seen society change on the whole, and sometimes the people with it. At least for those that are willing to change with it. These are the things that I can remember, and I wish it was different. When we were younger, much younger, living the days of not worrying about much ado of anything, We were hopefully all of us bright-eyed and bushy-tailed children flowing through life with little to no direction. I know some people did not have this path due to other difficulties in their life, and unfortunately, while I can't speak for you, I apologize for whatever issues that you may had. And I sincerely hope that since then, your life has gotten better and that you are able to pass on the thoughts and wishes that you wanted as a child onto whomever else might be out there who would need that, whether it be another family member, another child, or whomstever, nieces, nephews. You hopefully understand where I'm coming from. However, for the remainder of this, I ask that you please humor me and join along in my thought process. On topic, even as children, even going on into adult and teen status, we really didn't have too much to worry about in the grand scheme. You go to school, go home, do homework, study, in later cases, go to your part-time job, and just hang out with your friends. It was simple. Looking back to looking forward, I remember a time that I was terrified to go any further because it was all unknown to me. It was outside of my comfort zone, and it scared me to a point to where I almost just stagnated out, at least mentally. However, I knew that in the back of my mind, hell or high water, the day was coming to where I had to start floating on my own. It comes for everybody, unfortunately. Some people keep dodging it, and it doesn't really work out too well for them. Only when you embrace it can you actually fly, but that even comes with its own stipulations. And while I say that might be a little broad, I mean, yes, that's fine. Everybody has to do this. We don't understand what the point is. I'm telling you this because in that time period, as well as a few others within that transition, it's safe to say that we forgot how to enjoy the little things. One big step from going from a sheltered child to a growing adult is that while it is no small feat, it's ultimately a test of self-reliance as life will go on, with or without those who support you. But the transition is where things just tend to break apart. Life comes at you fast. Expensive accidents happen, heartbreaks, friends and family leave you one way or another, or any other unnamed tragedy rears its head at you. For the longest time, however, to brace for such a thing, whether we realize it or not, was to always have a plan. And I was told this ad nauseum, and I didn't ultimately realize what it truly meant until well after I left. Wow, that's a little intensive, don't you think, Emmett? Well, yes and no. All that means is that you can plan for the best of the best outcomes, but just know the second that you're out of the planning phase is when you'll have to get creative to make things work. What or rather, we as people at a certain point should have learned is that sometimes in this plan, certain things don't line up, and it happens. It's life. Life is one huge roguelike. The important thing here is to not freeze up. It's not to give up. It's to keep moving. Learn how to pivot, duck, dodge, dive, dip, and dodge. Sure, that pathway may have failed, but can you salvage what's left behind? Reuse it, repurpose it. If not, then there's no point in hanging on to something that could have been. No matter how much it hurts that connection may no longer be there for you. The best one can do is, again, pivot and or adapt. Taking that minor failure as a lesson of what to account for next time it happens. Can the failure be reasonably prevented? I hope so. Can it be used differently or as something of an early warning that something else might happen? Don't know. We face these things on a grand and smaller scale in all of our lives as one meat cluster in a swarm, but we face them in such repetitive, or rather not repetitive, but we face them in such constant flow that we tend to just water it down and trivialize the notion of having this plan, mixing the ideas for small day-to-day activities being earth-shattering and cataclysmic events, something that we use not as blueprints, but rather something that we try to use for attention or affluence. This is not always a bad thing, mind you, but it is something to consider. Why are you making the plan? What is the purpose of this plan? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of went off in a little bit of a different direction. All in all, what I'm getting at is in the large game of life, we play a small role. And in that small role, within our own ecosystem, we could be a large portion of something, or maybe something as equally small. The notion only matters to you as the person hearing this. We have, as people, or rather as a person, existed for so long. We have, or rather we are where we are because of our blueprints and our plans and pivoting, whether good or bad. I said earlier that I was present for all the things that I remember, but at the same time, I wasn't. Simply put, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, enjoy what you have and what you have done in the moment and beyond. You get one go at life, and it's too short to worry about what you did not do, what you could have done. Some things pass and you can't revisit it, and that's fine. Again, it's the game of life. And it's always great to remember them as a time that once was, but it shouldn't be there as a reminder of something negative for you to dwell on and linger on in pity and lost aspirations. It's to live, learn, be in the present, and live for the future. While I am one man on the internet, I cannot force you into these changes or perceptions. I can only encourage that you join myself and everyone else on the path for a better, more peaceful, and we'll call it a more, not knowledgeable, but a more in-synced you. Also, just as a PSA for anybody else, you think you're just kind of sort of on the edge or things like that and you need a moment, it's okay to take a freaking knee. It's okay to just put a stop to everything, take 20 minutes to yourself, like how I had to do writing up this video, as well as thinking about these things. It's okay to stop and just be in the moment, ground yourself. It's healthy to do so. Life will come at you fast, and if you just live at that pace, you're going to miss a lot. You're going to be unhappy. Just slow down. Don't take anything for granted. Live in the moment. Because no matter how really bad it is right now, and this is for the younger crowd, or how mediocre it is right now for my middle-aged audience, it can get better just based on how you want to perceive it. Be happy with where you are. You made the decisions to get there. And if you're not happy, in the words of Randy Feltface, change. It's that simple. Start planning, get back into the mindset of pivoting, and just change. That's all there is to it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I've been running your ears off for about 15 minutes. Hopefully, this all didn't fall on deaf ears, and maybe you can deliver some commentary of your own, or rather, tell me how you guys are feeling in the comment section below. But as always, please stay safe. Have a good one. I'm out.